Are you ready to change your life, but don't know how to start? Is your stress and worries keeping you awake at night? Have you been battling grief, anxiety, or depression all alone? Have you lost touch with your own sense of being or spirituality? Soul Free Therapies offers professional and affordable live video streaming counseling and coaching services from the comfort of your own home. Sessions offered in English, Spanish, and Portuguese. Go to our website at www.soul-free.com and book your first session today.
The Opperman Report is brought to you by Aquadam.net. You can give them a call at 707-764-2119. A flooded home is never easy to deal with. You're left with the mess to clean up, the insurance companies to deal with, and not to mention all the memories, the precious memories that are lost in the flood. You can never replace those. And Aquadam can be a tool in your arsenal to protect your home and property from the floodwaters. The cofferdam is filled with water to control water and is reusable as long as it's taken care of. It can protect your home or business from rising floodwaters like a dam, but without the beavers. It can also be used in construction. If you need an area to be dewatered, an Aquadam can do the job. An Aquadam was used at SeaWorld in Orlando for the Mako roller coaster ride during the coaster's construction by dewatering the work area. An Aquadam is now dewatering the work area at San Antonio SeaWorld for their newest roller coaster ride. An Aquadam has been used in many construction projects all around the U.S. and all around the world. Now give Aquadam a call, 707-764-2119. You can look them up online at aquadam.net. You can find them on Facebook at Aquadam Inc. You call them up, you email them, you tell them Ed Opperman sent you, and they're going to take 10% off the price. Aquadam.net, 707-764-2119. PureSoapFlakes.com, 218-568-2525. Have you ever heard of Castile Soap? Pure Soap Flake Company handcrafts fine soap bars, laundry powder, and concentrated soap flakes using organic vegetable oils from their northern Minnesota facility. Bathe your body and wash your clothes with Pure Soap products that are free of fragrance, GMOs, palm oil, sodium lauryl sulfate, and synthetic additives. Keep it clean, folks. Pure Soap Flake Company products are kind to living creatures and sensitive skin, safe for drains and waterways, and work great in high-efficiency washers and top and front-loading machines. They have a little promotion going on. Contact them to order some soap. Mention the Opperman Report. You're going to get a free gift. They're going to send a little extra soap, travel size, soap bars and laundry soap, cleaning soap flakes. I've been using that stuff all day long today. Great stuff. Order today at puresoapflakes.com or give them a call, 218-568-2525, 218-568-2525. Pure Soap Flake Company is a proud member of the Handcrafted Soap and Cosmetic Guild. If you find yourself in need of legal representation, it can be a very stressful time in your life. In my career, I have dealt with thousands of lawyers, I've dealt with thousands of law firms, and I can confidently recommend to you Keith M. Davidson at kmdlaw.com. Available 24 hours, 7 days a week. Just log into kmdlaw.com. That's kmdlaw.com. Or you can call toll-free 833-4KMD-LAW. That's 833-4KMD-LAW. Personal injury, wrongful death, STDs, sexual assault, car accidents. They handle it all efficiently and professionally. It doesn't matter how imposing the opposition may be, because the team at kmdlaw.com are battle-tested and fierce. They will not stop until justice prevails. Go to kmdlaw.com or call toll-free 833-4KMD-LAW. If you're in for the fight of your life, stop screwing around and contact KMD Law.
It's the Opperman Report. Join digital forensic investigator and PI Ed Opperman for an in-depth discussion of conspiracy theories, strategy of New World Order resistance, high-profile court cases in the news, and interviews with expert guests and authors on these topics and more. It's the Opperman Report. And now, here is investigator Ed Opperman.
Okay, welcome to the Opperman Report. I'm your host, private investigator Ed Opperman, and this show is brought to you by emailrevealer.com. Go to emailrevealer.com. You get a copy of my book, How to Become a Successful Private Investigator, but also check out our online infidelity investigation. You give us an email address, let's say your husband, your boyfriend, your wife, your girlfriend, and we could trace that email address back to online dating websites. We can catch them cheating online. We can also catch them on porn sites, swinger sites, escort service sites, And we can even expand on that investigation, contact them and get them to trade pictures with us and leave telephone messages and catch them cheating online. Now, we kind of got a related topic today. Our guest is going to be Joyce Short. And Joyce has written a couple of books. It's a fascinating story. The first one is just incredible. It's about this guy, Mario Antoine. It's called Carnal Abuse by Deceit, How a Predator's Lies Become Rape. And there's a brand new book coming out in November, Combating Romance Scams, Why Lying to Get Laid is a Crime, okay, by Joyce Short. But when you're looking on Amazon, you have to look for J.M. Short, because she uses J.M. Short. Got a website called StopRapeByFraud.com. Joyce Short, are you there?
I am, Ed, and thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for coming on the show. I know we had a little, but by the way, yeah, I want to apologize and thank you at the same time, because you were booked to come on Saturday afternoon, and we had this crazy breaking story. Oh my God, about this Pizzagate with the emails and WikiLeaks, and we did a show on Saturday. It was just, I'm still recovering from it. Just these horrible allegations of these horrible crimes, and
it's a travesty. I can't wait to hear that show.
I don't know, man.
It's absolutely fascinating.
It's traumatizing, but it's gone viral. It's all over. Everyone's talking about it, and this topic is just an insane topic. But so thank you so much for rescheduling with me. So Joyce, tell us about yourself. Who is Joyce Short?
Okay, well, I have to correct something that is a misimpression. My book, Carnal Abuse by Deceit, is not about Mario Antoine.
Oh, no? Okay.
Actually, no, it's about me. It's about my story, and it's why I got involved so heavily in the issue of rape by fraud and what it means to society. I got involved in it simply because it happened to me, and it happened to me long before the Internet. Unfortunately, the Internet, today, we see a great deal more of it. It's really become an epidemic. Because the Internet gives access to people that's unprecedented. And so it's basically launched a crime wave. People, when they're speaking to another person, they can be groomed and affections can arise that are the end result of people's interactions when the victim has absolutely no idea who they're really talking to on the other side. And oftentimes, the person can actually meet the other person, perpetuate those lies, and embroil that person in an actual physical relationship in which they have really a total misunderstanding about who that person is. And when that happens, the person's lies are basically undermining the victim's self-determination over their reproductive organs. They think that they're one person when in fact they're somebody else, and they're having sex with them under false pretenses. So my intent is to stop this from happening, and many states call it rape by fraud. I'm a little loath to call it rape by fraud because people have a misconception about what rape is. Oftentimes, people have a knee-jerk reaction to the word rape and think that it means physical violence. Excuse me one second. People think it means that a physical violence has to take place, that the person can only be overwhelmed by violence in order to undermine their self-determination. But in fact, anything that undermines their self-determination is an act of a sexual assault. The It's On Us pledge that is backed by President Obama and Vice President Biden states very clearly that sexual assault takes place whenever a person is non-consensual. And yet people have a misconception about what consent is. They think consent means agreement. Consent doesn't mean agreement. It means knowledgeable and informed agreement. The word agreement is defined as assent assent, and that means agreement on the face of it. So when you're lied to or tricked into having sex, you're giving your assent to someone. In other words, you're agreeing, but you're not giving your consent to them. They're tricking you into thinking your assent is consent when it's not. And they know, even though you don't know, that you're only giving assent and that they're depriving you of consent.
Well, let me ask you a question. Are you an attorney?
I'm not an attorney, but I've done a lot of research into this. I've spent a number of years investigating and researching the background for this. So if I speak like an attorney, I apologize.
Well, I just wanted to make sure I wasn't
going to mislead anybody into thinking that I am. I'm an advocate for this law.
I just want to make sure I wasn't going to get a bill for this time after our conversation.
No, not hardly.
Now, you're on the East Coast, right?
I am. I'm in New York.
Okay. I'm from New York. What part of New York?
I live in a very peculiar place called Roosevelt Island.
Get out of here! I didn't know you could live on there.
I'm sorry?
I didn't know you could live on Roosevelt Island. I remember Roosevelt Island. I didn't know there were people that lived there.
A lot of times people confuse Roosevelt Island with Randall's Island. So are you thinking Roosevelt Island?
No, I'm thinking Roosevelt Island. Yeah, Roosevelt Island. Yeah, I didn't know that people lived there. No, I thought it was like just a little island. I thought. Anyway.
About 40 years ago, they developed the island into a residential neighborhood.
Okay, I'm going to have to look that up and look into that.
Yeah, there are 14,000 of us that live here in this community.
Get out of here. And how do you go?
Yeah.
Okay. And how do you get on and off? Is there a bridge or is there a ferry?
There is going to be a ferry coming up next year, but right now there's a bridge, there's a tramway, there's trains, and you can drive your car. So there are a lot of access points.
Okay.
Like any other island that would be, located here in the city. We have easy access to the city. It takes us 3.5 minutes to get to the other side. I can be at Bloomingdale's in 3.5 minutes.
Oh, okay. Well, you got that time. Okay. All right. Now, and what have you done for a living? Your occupation for your life?
Okay, I have kind of a very kind of confused past. I started in the financial industry. In fact, I was the first woman who was ever hired as a trader for Solomon Brothers, which is or was the premier bond trading firm in the industry for many years. So my background is basically finance. I also was the global director of faculty for the New York Institute of Finance, which was owned and operated by the New York Stock Exchange at one point, and then they sold it to the Financial Times. And I worked in the building when the building was hit. I'm a World Trade Center person, and immediately after the World Trade Center came down, it basically put the kibosh on corporate training throughout the financial community. So I had to shift careers, and I went into real estate, and so I'm an associate broker. I'm a New York State licensed associate real estate broker. But the other thing that I do with my life, when I'm not blogging or writing books, I'm also a tennis instructor. And I have been with New York Junior Tennis and Learning for 28 years. I think this is my 28th year. And we basically provide free tennis instruction for children all throughout New York City. And it's a program that is a labor of love. I enjoy doing it. I've done it for a long time. And I'll continue doing it until I can no longer do it any longer, which probably won't be too far from now. I think maybe about another 3 years, 5 years possibly, and then I'll retire. But as long as I can.
Okay, and are married, single?
I'm divorced, which you'll know by reading Carnal Abuse by Deceit, which is all about the romance scam that happened to me. And I was embroiled in this romance scam for a considerable period of time. And, there was no information about what romance scams were. It predated the internet. Today, anything that happens to you can go right to the internet and you can type in a couple of words, and lo and behold, you'll see the cure to everything that ails you, and information about any subject you want to know about. But that wasn't in existence back when I was scammed. It was kind of in the day of Mad Men. Did you ever watch the serial Mad Men on TV?
Yeah, sure. So it was like in the 60s?
Yes. We met, I think it was 1972.
Okay.
I don't remember off the top of my head. It's probably on the first page of my book, actually. But life was a lot different then. And he just, pretended to be a person that he wasn't. And it took me a good 3.5 years before I learned who he actually was. So, life was very different for me as a result of finding this out. I wanted to make sure that people understood that this happens, how it happens, why it happens, what to do if it happens to you. Because for me, I had to struggle through the recovery, not knowing or not understanding what I was dealing with for many, many years. I wanted to make sure that, whatever knowledge I had, could be put in front of society so that if it happens, and when it happens to other people, they have an easier road or an easier pathway to recovery. Nobody ever told me the words rape by fraud when I started writing my book, and only then did I recognize that what happened to me was really a form of rape. And I wanted to make sure that language existed out there, because if you can't find the words to express what happened to you, how do you discuss it? And without discussing it, you're tormented by it. Certainly it's a lot easier to recover from something if you have the language to make it understood and to make yourself understood.
Well, why don't you give us an idea of what happened? How'd you meet this guy?
I met him in a bar. I
see
was
that?
actually going, all the things that you shouldn't do. But, that was what we did back in the 70s before you had Match.com.
That's so true.
I went to an after-hours bar with a friend of mine. We were going out to dinner, and I met her at a bar that was right around the corner from her office. And when I got there, she was sitting there with my ex and another fellow, and we got into a conversation, and he was charming and tall, dark, and handsome, and swept me off my feet. And, I was 20-something. I was about 24 at the time. And, one thing led to another, and we had a relationship for quite some time. But, people will learn that by reading the book, certainly. But I think that what's happening today is really much more interesting for people, because it gives them a sense of how this has evolved.
Okay, but before we get to that, give us an idea. How was this guy deceiving you? What was the deception with this gentleman you met when you were 24?
He deceived me about every piece of character that he disclosed to me. And I don't want to be more specific because I don't want to spoil it alert for people that read the book. But, for example, he lied about his age. He lied about his education. He lied about everything. He lied about his military background. Everything that he told me about himself was an untruth. So I fell in love with him, thinking that he was something that he wasn't, that he was a totally different. Do you remember in Mad Men that Donald Draper was actually Dick Whitman?
Right.
And his entire background, his entire persona, was something different than who he actually was. And that's basically the same thing that happened to me. Everything that he told me about himself was different than actuality.
And did you wind up marrying
so I
him?
wanted to make sure. What's that?
Did you wind up marrying him?
I absolutely wound up marrying him, and we have a child.
Okay.
So there's a lot more to the story, and why it's so important for people to recognize and get away from these people when you find out that they've lied to you. It's not that easy to do. People have the misconception that when you find out that they're a liar, you just pick yourself up and you walk away. And that isn't what happens. We have brain chemistry that Mother Nature gave us that basically attaches you to someone that you feel affectionately toward. That's what enables us to mate with someone and to raise our children and to stay together throughout their development. At least that's the intent that Mother Nature had, and why we're blessed with brain chemistry such as dopamine and serotonin and vasopressin and oxytocin, all of the neuropeptides and hormones that go on in your brain to create attachment for you. And when something happens, particularly a betrayal happens, you're thrown into a state of chaos where you can love a person and hate the person both at the same time. A lot of times people think that hatred is the opposite of love, and it's not. The opposite of love is apathy. And while you're in the midst of loving and hating someone, the last thing that you feel toward that person is apathy. So it really embroils you even further into the attachment. Another thing that happens, and we call it a misattribution effect, is that you're, let's say you were going on a Ferris wheel at the county fair, and before you got on the Ferris wheel, you were on your first date, and you felt friendly toward each other. But as you're going around the Ferris wheel, or even more, if you're going on the roller coaster, then when you come off, you might be holding hands because you've experienced something that heightens your fear, and your hormones kick in and create what's called a misattribution effect, where you then have an attachment or a bond with that person that you shared that fear with.
Oh, that's interesting.
So there are consequences to misappropriating someone's affection. And when you're doing it by betraying them or lying to them, when they discover the betrayal, to some people, not all people, but to some people, they become even more embedded and attached because that sudden waning of the neuropeptides and hormones gives them more of a, it's a stressful circumstance.
Like a trauma.
And yes, you'll feel more attached and more, you'll be lunging for that hook rather than just letting the hook go.
Let me ask a question then back to your ex-husband. How did you find out that he was deceiving you? How did that come about?
You know what? That's the kind of question that I'd like people to read the book,
Yeah, I know, but
to determine, because, I don't want to spoil it for people.
Yeah.
And a little bit about it. And I think that it's important for people to read the book so that they can really get an understanding of how these people operate, why they operate this way, what kind of impacts it has on a person's life, and how you can spot them, how you can recover, and why we should be prosecuting people who undermine our self-determination and sexually assault us in this way. So I think it's an important book for people to read. I think it will help them. If it's happened to them, it will definitely help them heal. Healing is a very, very painful process. I can't tell you, since I've written this book, how many people have contacted me who are victims of this type of fraud, and how many people have literally been on the verge of suicide. And I think that this book will help give them an understanding and enable them to see that there is a light at the end of this very dark tunnel, and that even though they don't feel that way right at present, that you can lose everything and still bring joy back into your life. And I think that that's really the message that I'd like them to, that I'd like to get across in the book, is that it's not, you're not lost. Life is not over. Every day is a new day. And even though you might lose everything in the process of going through this trauma, you have to grieve your losses, just like if you were grieving someone who died. The person that died is the person that you knew in yourself. And you have to grieve that loss, and then you have to go on with your life and put them on the back burner and move on and find new joys and a new way of living that puts you on the path to a better life. So that's the message that I'd like them to get by reading the book.
Okay, and what kind of person do you expect to purchase the book? Like someone who already experienced this?
Well, I think that certainly somebody who experienced it and is having trouble recovering or can't understand what's happened or why they did what they did. A lot of times people think, oh, how was I this stupid? How could this happen to me? I'm a smart person. Look, I don't think anybody that knows me for more than 32 seconds thinks that I'm a dumb person.
Right.
The concept that people are naive or gullible. Eric Schneiderman, the Attorney General of the state of New York, had a wonderful comment that he made just a couple of weeks ago, and was made in regard to the Trump University scandal.
Right.
He was on Morning Joe. One of the commentators said, well, aren't these people just naive and gullible? And Eric Schneiderman turned to him and said, the law is there to protect the gullible and the sophisticated. Being gullible is not a crime. Being sexually assaulting someone is a crime. And so it's really important for people to understand that someone who is, a sociopath or a psychopath or someone who falls within the range of cluster B personality disorder and has no emotional empathy and no conscience is going to undermine you and get what they want with little or no regard to what's best for you. And they're very, very good at what they do, and usually very proficient. The likelihood that you're the first person they ever scammed is very unlikely. They've been scamming people all their lives, and they've become very, very good and very proficient at it. And so, yes, the person who has been scammed can certainly benefit by reading Carnal Abuse by Deceit. A person who's trying to support or help an individual that's gone through this, someone who looks at a person who is having a hard time breaking away from a scam and keeps running back and being held in the midst of an abusive or toxic relationship. They could read this book and better understand what that person is going through and could be wiser in how to counsel that person. Maybe even give them the book so that they could see themselves and experience that and see how they're being affected the same way.
Yeah, and I tell you, I should probably buy a copy of this book because
there you go.
Yeah, because I investigate these kind of romance scams. This is one of the main things we do with the email tracing. Because people use fake email addresses, and we even have a catfish investigation on the website that we do.
Yep.
And it's amazing because it's usually the women who hire us. Some men too. Usually men hire us because they've sent a lot of money. And women, it's more of an emotional thing. But you have no idea. Now, you probably would have an idea I'll talk to.
I have an idea. You're talking to the wrong person.
I'll give you. And this happens so often because you were talking about how they keep getting dragged back in. Just recently, a woman came to me, and she says, "Well, I gave this guy my bank account number, and now he said he sent me a package, and they want me to pay for the storage of this gift he sent me. I didn't want the gift, and now I got to pay storage." And they call me up, threaten me. And I says, "Listen, you got to close your bank account. You have to shut down that bank because now they got your account number. You got to change your phone number. You got to stop emailing back with this guy." You're right. I'll do it right now. And I'll get a call the next day. Well, he says you're lying to me. He says you're the one scammed. I told you not to talk to him anymore.
Here's why, Ed. There's a reason why she feels that way, and I'll tell you what it is.
Go ahead, shoot.
He has stirred up her emotional chemistry. Okay, there is brain chemistry going on that creates affection and attachment. So he started out by being affectionate toward her. So now she's attached to him. Romantic love is a form of addiction. You're actually stirring up the very same neuropeptides, neurotransmitters, and hormones that you'd be stirring up if you were addicted to alcohol or if you were addicted to drugs. The reality is that you have these brain chemicals so that you can raise your young. And your young are the most dependent young that exist on the planet. Okay, an elephant can stand by itself at 4 years old. How old does an adult Homo sapiens have to be before they stand on their own? So the whole concept of chemistry, our brain chemistry, is to cleave us to another person so that that child has two people in order to rear it. And so that brain chemistry is very, very strong. And once people understand the addictive quality of romance and love, then it's easier for them to recognize that they have to break free. They're simply reacting to the effects of their brain chemistry. And once they recognize that they're doing that, and that they have to go cold turkey, right, and that they have to supplant that brain chemistry with other things, then it's easier for them to kick the habit and break away. And I wish that I could get that message across to everyone who lives through an abusive relationship. Reva Steenkamp, perfect example. Reva Steenkamp.
Before we get to that,
really aware that Oscar Pistorius was not a nice guy.
This is a good time to take a commercial break, okay? And I forgot to tell you before we started that it's a 4 minute and 58-second break. It's about 5 minutes long, so you have plenty of time to go get a drink, go to the bathroom, whatever you want to do. But you won't be able to hear the commercial, and we won't be able to talk during that time. So, but if you come back late, don't worry, I'll just fill the time till you get back. So we'll be back with our guest, Joyce Short. After these messages, she's the author of a book coming out in November, Combating Romance Scams, Why Lying to Get Laid is a Crime. Now, you can pre-order that. You can go right now, while we're taking a break, because nobody listens to the ads. I know you don't. Go to StopRapeByFraud.com. You can go there and pre-order the book. And, of course, we're talking about her previous book, which is a Carnal Abuse by Deceit, How a Predator's Lies Became Rape. So we'll be back with more of Joyce Short, StopRapeByFraud.com, right after these messages. And now a word from our sponsors.
Have you ever thought about opening your own mobile cart or kiosk business? Maybe the facility you manage could establish new revenue by adding coffee, food, or retail services. Cart King International can be the answer to your needs. Cart King is a North American designer and manufacturer of the finest mobile coffee, food, and retail carts and kiosks. Cart King has been working with clients and corporations across North America for 20 years, providing innovative designs, custom manufacturing, and timely delivery. Carts and kiosks are fun, and so are the dozens of designs on our website. Please visit us today at www.cart-king.com or just call us at 1-877-986-7771 and get your sales rolling.
Thank you so much for listening to the Opperman Report. I want to welcome all our new listeners at WWPR 1490 AM in the Tampa Bay area. We're brand new down here. We're getting a nice warm welcome. We have great advertising opportunities for local sponsors, local businesses, but also international websites and international companies too on our other stations in California, Nevada, Utah, and on the internet worldwide. But down here in Tampa Bay, Florida, we have some great opportunities for you to come in and get very, very affordable advertising rates. Get a hold of me at oppermanreport@gmail.com and we'll cut you a good deal. PureSoapFlakes.com, 218-568-2525. Have you ever heard of Castile Soap? Pure Soap Flake Company handcrafts fine soap bars, laundry powder, and concentrated soap flakes using organic vegetable oils from their northern Minnesota facility. Bathe your body and wash your clothes with pure soap products that are free of fragrance, GMOs, palm oil, sodium lauryl sulfate, and synthetic additives. Keep it clean, folks. Pure Soap Flake Company products are kind to living creatures and sensitive skin, safe for drains and waterways, and work great in high-efficiency washers and top and front-loading machines. They have a little promotion going on. Contact them to order some soap. Mention the Opperman Report. You're going to get a free gift. They're going to send a little extra soap, travel size, soap bars and laundry soap, cleaning soap flakes. I've been using that stuff all day long today. Great stuff. Order today at puresoapflakes.com or give them a call, 218-568-2525, 218-568-2525. Pure Soap Flake Company is a proud member of the Handcrafted Soap and Cosmetic Guild. The Opperman Report is brought to you by Aquadam.net. You can give them a call at 707-764-2119. A flooded home is never easy to deal with. You're left with the mess to clean up, the insurance companies to deal with, and not to mention all the memories, the precious memories that are lost in the flood. You can never replace those. And Aquadam can be a tool in your arsenal to protect your home and property from the floodwaters. The cofferdam is filled with water to control water and is reusable as long as it's taken care of. It can protect your home or business from rising floodwaters like a dam, but without the beavers. It can also be used in construction. If you need an area to be dewatered, an Aquadam can do the job. An Aquadam was used at SeaWorld in Orlando for the Mako roller coaster ride during the coaster's construction by dewatering the work area. An Aquadam is now dewatering the work area at San Antonio SeaWorld for their newest roller coaster ride. An Aquadam has been used in many construction projects all around the U.S. and all around the world. Now give Aquadam a call, 707-764-2119. You can look them up online at aquadam.net. You can find them on Facebook at Aquadam Inc. You call them up, you email them, you tell them Ed Opperman sent you, and they're going to take 10% off the price. Aquadam.net, 707-764-2119.
It's the Opperman Report. And now, here is investigator Ed Opperman.
Okay, welcome back to the Opperman Report. I'm your host, private investigator Ed Opperman. We're here with Joyce Short. Let me just unmute her here. I got her on mute. Doing a commercial break there. Oops, come on. There we go. We're here with Joyce Short. She's authored a couple of books. The first one we're talking about was Carnal Abuse by Deceit, How a Predator's Lies Became Rape. And the new book that's coming out is Combating Romance Scams, Why Lying to Get Laid is a Crime. And you can find that at StopRapeByFraud.com. And JM Short, if you look on Amazon. Now, Joyce, I got a quick question for you before we get to the next book. Because, I was telling you about how these clients I have, how they, they're addicted to the guy who's scamming them, and you described, right. But now, what about these other ones who, they know their spouse is cheating on them. They know their girlfriend's cheating on them. They know their boyfriend's cheating on them. I can talk to them for 5 minutes and I can know, yeah, they're cheating on you. We don't need an investigation, I could tell you right now. But they want to just keep spending money or just getting me on the phone and talking about how the problem and just talking about it. And sometimes I don't even think they're even interested in the results. They just want to just take some kind of action or movement or something associated with it. Can you explain that to me?
In other words, they take an action, but they're not willing to do anything about it. Is that what you're asking me?
No.
Why they're in that position?
They just want to still be involved in the situation. They want to hire an investigator. They want to see, reports. They want to talk to me. They want to call me up. They want an update on the case. They just want some kind of activity around this situation to continue and.
They're still tied. That brain chemistry is still holding them fast in that relationship. And it's very difficult. It's like, how do you stop smoking? Well, some people have more willpower than others. Some people, even after they've left the person, continue looking on their Facebook or, checking them out, seeing what they're doing, seeing how they're behaving toward other people, continue questioning, was it me? Was I really unfairly or unfairly judging that person? Once your brain chemistry is stirred up and in motion, it takes a lot of willpower in order to break out of that mode. Another thing that inspires people to hang on is called positive valence. Valence is our ability to, as human beings, feel that the sun will come up tomorrow morning, and if you are in a sinking ship, and you make every effort that you can in order to get off the sinking ship, even jumping into the lifeboat or into the sea, on the basis that something better is going to happen to you out there than it is if you stay on that boat, right?
Right.
So that's your positive valence motivating you to get out of harm's way. Positive valence makes us think that things will be better. People march to the gas chamber. I'm sorry, in Nazi Germany, we know of lots of incidents where we wonder, why wasn't there an uprising? Why didn't people protest? Why didn't they do what was necessary in order to break away? And some of that is because their positive valence convinced them that that doing what they were doing was going to make a difference and create a better a better ending to their story.
Real quick, let me tell you a real quick story. A friend of mine and a past partner of mine was NYPD Harbor Aviation. They were NYPD scuba cops that would go rescue people in the New York Harbor and stuff like that. And one time they had to rescue these two kids. Were on a Navy little patrol boat, one of these little tiny boats that the Navy drives around New York City. And they were stuck in ice. These two kids, they were like 17, 18 years old, and they sent them out on this little boat by themselves. And they got stuck in the ice. And NYPD came to rescue them. And these two kids, they were like 18 years old because we saw them at the ceremony. Their plan, what they were about to do before they got rescued, was they were going to jump off that boat and try to jump from one little piece of ice to the next piece of ice back to land. That was their plan. They were just about, right. So that's exactly what you're talking about, Oh, boy.
Yeah. And positive valence can save you from a disaster, or it could stick you in whatever circumstance you're in, thinking that you're going to have a happy ending. So it could be your savior, or it could be your downfall. And a lot of people, as you were saying, have positive valence, and they're stuck in this relationship. They don't understand that they're basically intoxicated by this person, and that they need to, just like if you were an alcoholic and you were trying to abstain from alcohol, the last place that you should be is at a bar, and staying in that relationship is just like going into the bar when you're trying to abstain from alcohol. They don't recognize that you need to cold turkey it. You need to walk away from that relationship. And that, yes, it's going to be hard, but ultimately, the pain that you're going through is going to wane. You're going to put it on the back burner, and you're going to go on with your life. But oftentimes, especially when you're dealing with marital situations, their finances are intertwined. They have issues with how they're going to support their children, or how are they going to nurture their children. So life is a lot more complicated than simply, okay, I recognize they're a bad dude and I can walk away. There are other things that make it very, very difficult. But the fact that your brain chemistry, your very own brain chemistry, is sabotaging your readiness and your willfulness to make that decision and walk away, that's certainly not working to your benefit also.
Yeah, but
So, yes, and, I'm sorry.
Yeah, men and different are so different. Men and women are so different in that regard too, because women will stay.
That's because you have.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's because you have testosterone. Testosterone and your levels of testosterone actually contradict or minimize the effects of oxytocin. For a woman, the effects of oxytocin, I had to laugh. There was something on TV recently where a guy said to a woman, oh, that's your oxytocin speaking, or something like that. And she was like, what's oxytocin? And he said, well, that's the thing that makes women fall in love. Well, yeah, it makes everybody fall in love. But a man's testosterone has a minimizing effect on their oxytocin. And so it's easier for them to separate. And I don't want to lump everybody into the same category.
Right.
We all have different levels of chemistry. That's what makes us little snowflakes, and our genetics determine exactly what our brain chemistry consists of. So for one person, it's going to be one way, and for another person, it's going to be different. And it's not all just a question of whether you're male or whether you're female. You could be twins and have different levels of genetic brain chemistry. So everybody's a snowflake. Everybody reacts differently. But we have to begin to understand as a society how our brain chemistry works so that we understand what we need to do in relationship to romances in order to keep ourselves safe. And unfortunately, as you were saying, I was originally going to call my book Don't Swallow That Catfish Hook. That was my original name for combating romance scams. And the thing that made me change it is that somebody pointed out when they saw it and they said, what's a catfish? And this was a very, very intelligent, savvy woman. And I thought, wow, if she doesn't know what a catfish is, there are a lot of people out there who don't know what a catfish is. So most people, including those who understand what a catfish is, know who Neve Schulman is, and have seen the book and have seen the movie and seen the TV show, they understand what a catfish is, and they also understand that when they're catfished, that they're going through a romance scam. So that's why I decided that instead of going with the term catfish, I went with the term romance scam. Because everybody understands what a romance scam is. When it's on the internet and they've pretended to be something they're not, then they're catfishing you. And that's explained in my book. The whole source of catfishing is explained in Combating Romance Scams. And, I have an interesting story, if you want to hear it, about a recent real-life scam that took place that really knocked me on my feet. It was one of the most bizarre stories that I've heard in all of the stories, and believe me, I get them just as I'm sure you do.
Yeah.
I get them from all corners of the world. One day, not too long ago, it was late October, I get a call from a reporter from Kansas City, Missouri, and he says to me, do you know that your Stop Rape by Fraud blog was actually quoted by the federal prosecutor in an indictment that was just handed down on a fellow who they called a serial rapist? And I got to tell you, I was shocked. I was wowed. I was like, oh my God, this is wow. For the feds to actually understand that, that I've written a blog and that people use it in order to understand what rape by fraud is, I was really, I was really very, very surprised. And he went on to tell me this really bizarre story. So here's the story. First of all, this guy, his name is Mario Anton. He's a wedding photographer, or at least he claimed to be. And a couple of years back, he was actually convicted of taking jobs as a wedding photographer, accepting advance payment, and then never showing up. So he was convicted of that crime. he was put on probation, and he broke his probation, so he was finally jailed in around 2015. So in 2016, he gets out, and now he creates this amazing story where he lures young women under false pretenses into thinking that he's some big porn producer, and that he's going to have sex with them as an audition for roles in his porn videos. And the federal indictment specifically stated that because he had read my blog and because he had blogged on a couple of other terms like rape by deception in Kansas, all of these, he would probably pull up my blog by keywording any of this. Illegal to trick girls into sleeping with you. So it was really indicative to them that he indeed knew that this was a crime that he was committing and why they called him a serial rapist. But here's the problem. And by the way, they wrote this indictment when 6 people had come forward. At this point, since the story had gone public, there are now over 30 people who have come forward with complaints against this man. And I question why the feds had the case, and the feds actually indicted him for things like cyber stalking and extortion, but he wasn't arrested for sexual assault or rape by deception, which, in fact, Missouri is one of the very few states in the country that have a rape by deception law. And so I called the prosecutor, the state prosecutor in Kansas City, Missouri. Her name is Jill Eisenhower. And I asked her, why are you not indicting this man for rape? 30 women have come forward at this point. How many more do you have to rape before you're going to indict him for rape? The federal prosecutor calls him a serial rapist. What's going on here? And, she kind of hemmed and hawed and gave a couple of excuses and finally said, well, the investigating agency, who we know to be the FBI, never presented the case to us. So I said to her, wait a second, can you pick up the phone and call the FBI? I mean, how far away from you can they be? They're not more than, Kansas City, Missouri. Sorry, what are they? Maybe 5 blocks away from them, or maybe they're even in the same building. Who knows? And she was like, that's you'll have to ask them. Thank you for your call. Boom, there goes. She hangs up the receiver. So needless to say, my next phone call was to the FBI, and I spoke to the investigator who put me in touch with their PR people. And basically said, we conduct investigations. We conduct our investigations for the federal prosecutor, and we conduct those investigations within the 4 corners of the indictment. So there didn't seem to be any interest on the part of either the FBI or the federal or the state prosecutor to share their information.
Okay, let me ask you this, because we're running out of time. We only got about 3 minutes left. What do you want to leave us with?
Well, the book that I've written, Combating Romance Scams, is all about passing legislation in order to make sex scams stop. And there is specific language for law in that book, and there is explanations. It raises awareness. It raises people's understanding. If they could read that book and take that book to their legislators, particularly if they've been involved in a romance scam, read that book, take it to your legislators, say, look, I want you to pass this law. Here's my story. What are you going to do to help me? And also, in the state of Alabama or the state of Tennessee or the state of Missouri, call up your prosecutors if a romance scam happens to you.
Joyce Short, thank you so much.
Thank you, Ed.
And now a word from our sponsors. OppermanReport.com. Hey, do you like what you're hearing? Do you like the work that you see us doing here at Opperman Report? You can support that work by becoming a member at OppermanReport.com. And as you have access to over 200 exclusive shows and interviews that you can't find on YouTube or Spreaker or iHeart or iTunes or KYAH. You can't find them anywhere else online, exclusive to our member sections, to our members. Also, too, there's images, videos, documents, court docs. And don't forget, you can hear your ad played here on the Opperman Report, reach hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people on a daily basis because the show is repeated every day all over the world. Contact me at operatreport@gmail.com and I'll give you a good deal on advertising rates.
Have you ever thought about opening your own mobile cart or kiosk business? Maybe the facility you manage could establish new revenue by adding coffee, food, or retail services. Cart King International can be the answer to your needs. Cart King is a North American designer and manufacturer of the finest mobile coffee, food, and retail carts and kiosks. Cart King has been working with clients and corporations across North America for 20 years, providing innovative designs, custom manufacturing, and timely delivery. Carts and kiosks are fun, and so are the dozens of designs on our website. Please visit us today at www.cart-king.com or just call us at 1-877-986-7771 and get your sales rolling.
The Opperman Report is brought to you by Aquadam.net. You can give them a call at 707-764-2119. A flooded home is never easy to deal with. You're left with the mess to clean up, the insurance companies to deal with, and not to mention all the memories, the precious memories that are lost in the flood. You can never replace those. And Aquadam can be a tool in your arsenal to protect your home and property from the floodwaters. The cofferdam is filled with water to control water and is reusable as long as it's taken care of. It can protect your home or business from rising floodwaters like a dam, but without the beavers. It can also be used in construction. If you need an area to be dewatered, an Aquadam can do the job. An Aquadam was used at SeaWorld in Orlando for the Mako roller coaster ride during the coaster's construction by dewatering the work area. An Aquadam is now dewatering the work area at San Antonio SeaWorld for their newest roller coaster ride. An Aquadam has been used in many construction projects all around the U.S. and all around the world. Now give Aquadam a call, 707-764-2119. You can look them up online at aquadam.net. You can find them on Facebook at Aquadam Inc. You call them up, you email them, you tell them Ed Opperman sent you, and they're going to take 10% off the price. Aquadam.net, 707-764-2119.
Are you ready to change your life, but don't know how to start? Is your stress and worries keeping you awake at night? Have you been battling grief, anxiety, or depression all alone? Have you lost touch with your own sense of being or spirituality? Soul Free Therapies offers professional and affordable live video streaming counseling and coaching services from the comfort of your own home. Sessions offered in English, Spanish, and Portuguese. Go to our website at www.soul-free.com and book your first session today.
If you find yourself in need of legal representation, it can be a very stressful time in your life. In my career, I have dealt with thousands of lawyers, I've dealt with thousands of law firms, and I can confidently recommend to you Keith M. Davidson at kmdlaw.com. Available 24 hours, 7 days a week. Just log into kmdlaw.com. That's kmdlaw.com. Or you can call toll-free 833-4KMD-LAW. That's 833-4KMD-LAW. Personal injury, wrongful death, STDs, sexual assault, car accidents. They handle it all efficiently and professionally. It doesn't matter how imposing the opposition may be, because the team at kmdlaw.com are battle-tested and fierce. They will not stop until justice prevails. Go to kmdlaw.com or call toll-free 833-4KMD-LAW. If you're in for the fight of your life, stop screwing around and contact KMD Law. PureSoapFlakes.com. 218-568-2525. Have you ever heard of Castile Soap? Pure Soap Flake Company handcrafts fine soap bars, laundry powder, and concentrated soap flakes using organic vegetable oils from their northern Minnesota facility. Bathe your body and wash your clothes with Pure Soap products that are free of fragrance, GMOs, palm oil, sodium lauryl sulfate, and synthetic additives. Keep it clean, folks. Pure Soap Flake Company products are kind to living creatures and sensitive skin, safe for drains and waterways, and work great in high-efficiency washers and top and front-loading machines. They have a little promotion going on. Contact them to order some soap. Mention the Opperman Report. You're going to get a free gift. They're going to send a little extra soap, travel size, soap bars and laundry soap, cleaning soap flakes. I've been using that stuff all day long today. Great stuff. Order today at puresoapflakes.com or give them a call, 218-568-2525, 218-568-2525. Pure Soap Flake Company is a proud member of the Handcrafted Soap and Cosmetic Guild.